How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. I want to talk to you today about 6 companies that I'm looking at going forward, maybe possibly buying, but kind of weighing how the week goes. And these are the 6 companies that are really on my radar right now. This is obviously before the week starts. Now, some of these are mega cap stocks, really large companies. Some are ones that you've definitely heard of. Some I haven't even talked about on the channel. The first one is very speculative, but it has had some big news this week. It went up 25% just on Thursday, the last day that we had of the market, on some big news that had, and it's kind of a picks and shovels play for Bitcoin. So I'll explain that, but some of the other ones are varied across multiple sectors. So with that in mind, if you guys don't mind hitting the like button, I really appreciate that. Also hit subscribe if you haven't already done that. It helps out the channel a lot. If you guys want 4 free stocks through WeBull, I found out that they are running the 4 free stock promotion. You can deposit $100 using the link down below and get into that. And if you want to know whether I buy these stocks or how much I buy, you can check out the link down below to Patreon. We have had a couple of companies that we bought recently that have done really well. So if you want to get in on it there, definitely check that out down below. We have over 1,300 people in there now. So the first company is pretty speculative, but I heard about it recently. The company, the ticker is EBON, EBANG International. It is a company under $1 billion. It is kind of a picks and shovel play. It is in China. It's a picks and shovel play on Bitcoin mining. So they make Bitcoin mining equipment. They also came out, and the reason that they're up so much on Thursday was that they came out and said that they're going to have a cryptocurrency exchange, which caused the stock price to go up dramatically. They do have some not great results from the first half of the year. They actually had a decrease of a significant amount for their revenue. It was about 50% decrease, but they say that that's because of the pandemic. That would make sense. I mean, it is a very expensive thing to do, but it's kind of a picks and shovel play, and I think they'll be able to show really good earnings actually from this half of the year. And the company is down over the last 6 months. If you look back in September, right before they announced this, they were a pretty expensive stock at $10, $11 a share, and now it's gone down pretty drastically. But I think that they're going to have some really good numbers that have come out because, first of all, we're getting away from the pandemic. Second of all, Bitcoin is going insane right now. So I just did a video yesterday on what's happening with Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin price is going up dramatically. When I shot it, it was about 31.5 thousand per Bitcoin. By the time that I was done editing it, an hour later, it was 32.5 thousand per Bitcoin. So I think they're going to show some good results because a lot of people will be buying Bitcoin mining equipment. Now, that one's very speculative. I haven't decided on that. I still have a lot more research to do on that one. The next one is a lot less speculative, and it's Alibaba stock. And I've been looking at this one for a while. I actually talked to my Discord about it earlier this week. And they have been just down and hammered over the last couple months. You can see their last high price was about $317. They're down about 26% from there. They have really good earnings compared to some of the other large companies. So they're a $630 billion company. Back when they were up at their peak, they were closer to like a $900 billion company, $800 billion company. And on the 1 year, they're pretty much even. Now, I'll say this too. Dead Inside did a video on Alibaba the other day, which helped provide some more clarity for me that, it is a very cheap stock. And I shared this to my Discord about 3 or 4 days ago, that Alibaba, compared to its peers, has a very low forward PE ratio. I mean, just look, 17.8, and the next closest one is Facebook at 25.5. The highest one is Amazon at about 70. So it does present a very interesting opportunity, but I will say this, that the main reason I think it's going down is some different antitrust fears out of China and just some stuff that's going on with Alibaba specifically, one of the companies that they own not being able to go public. So there is some fear of that, along with possibly delisting these Chinese companies. So that's something that I would take into consideration. But for me, I think that's a little bit overblown. I think they'll be able to comply and not really have to be regulated as much as some people are fearing right now. The next company is another big one, and that's Disney. So I bought some of this last week. I bought about 2% of my overall portfolio I bought in Disney last week. I feel like they are being valued higher than they used to be, but still not valued high enough accounting for some of their future growth in their streaming, I don't see a world where Disney loses long term. And of course, I could always be wrong. This always could happen, right? I shouldn't say that they will never lose, but think about it this way: if the pandemic ends or things open up, they open up their parks. If it doesn't, then they continue to increase their streaming. They're expecting to be able to about triple their subscribers in the next 3 years. And that would add a lot of people in on the stock. I think a lot of people will be buying the stock up. And I'm not saying that's going to triple. I'm not saying it's going to be $1 trillion stock by next year or the year after or anything. But I could see it possibly doubling over the next 2-3 years. I could see it maybe doing a little bit better than that if these kind of hype investors start jumping in on Disney. Of course, I could be wrong, but I really like this one long term. It's one of my larger holdings. The next one is another streaming stock, and that's Fubo. So I've been buying Fubo since it was below the price it is now, and it experienced a lot of growth recently. It went up to $62 a share, and I covered this one more in depth a few days ago. Really nothing has changed fundamentally about Fubo TV. They had a lockup period that ended on some of their IPO investors, so a lot of people were able to sell out at about 300-400% up on their shares, so they sold off, causing the stock to go down. Also, some analysts downgraded it because of a couple different factors, but I don't think the analysts are really accounting for the possible sports betting on their platform. Also, it is trading pretty inexpensively compared to some other streaming stocks. I think, as it's been falling down, we've seen it's starting to get more attractive because they are growing pretty quickly. The last two stocks are both Bitcoin stocks or Bitcoin related stocks. One is CLSK. I did a full video on this one yesterday. These two stocks I did a full video on yesterday. Really interesting stock because they recently acquired a Bitcoin mining company, but they also have a grid company. Their grid part of their company is expected to grow 100% next year. In 2021, they're expecting revenues to double. And then the Bitcoin mining side of their business, they think will add another $10 million worth of revenue, which would increase them from $10 million worth of revenue this year up to $30 million next year. And I like the play that they're making on Bitcoin, but also not really relying on it exclusively, because if Bitcoin keeps on going up, it's great for the company. If it goes down, they still have this other part of their business that's growing 100% a year. So I like this one. I probably will add more money to it this week. And then the last one is a pure Bitcoin mining play. Another one that I talked about in my video yesterday, but they're adding a lot of units, a lot of Bitcoin mining units to their operation. They pretty much doubled in the last quarter how many Bitcoin mining units they have. And the price of Bitcoin has tripled over the last quarter. So I think they're going to be able to produce revenues about 6x what they did last quarter. So quarter over quarter, a 600% growth. And you can see the price of the stock has gone up dramatically. I mean, from $3-4 a share up to 21, and a lot of that happening just in the last few weeks. But if we keep on seeing Bitcoin move up, if we keep on seeing them add more units, this could be a very interesting stock, and I don't own it now, but I might buy some this week. So these are the 6 stocks that I've been looking at. Let me know your thoughts on these. Some of them are really speculative. Some of them are less speculative. If I didn't talk about a stock on this list that I've talked about recently, it's not that I necessarily don't like it or I want to sell it or anything like that. It's just these are the ones I see the most growth in. And like for a company like BNGO, I feel like it has got a really good future, but I'm comfortable with the position I have in it. But these are companies that I think I could add a lot more. And, there's always a risk to reward ratio that you have to figure out personally as an investor. But I feel like these all offer significant upside, enough that I would consider the risks. So thank you guys for watching. If you want to see that video from yesterday, I talked about CLSK and BTBT a little bit more in depth, breaking it down. You can definitely check out this video here at the top, and I put the video on BNGO down here. Thank you guys, and if you want to check out the Patreon, check it out down below. Thank you for checking out WeBull, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.